there are so few things that you can actually control in life. Like, you can't control the political situations, you can't control the weather, you can't control whether your stock gets stopped at borders, you can't control, like a lot of people holding stock in Dubai, and all of a sudden, because of this Iran war and the America war, it's like all of a sudden people's stock is stuck in Dubai. So very little that you can control, but one thing you can control is yourself, right? And how you manage your time. And that's why it's so important that you learn how to manage your time effectively so that you can get the most output possible. Because realistically, like in reality, the only thing you can actually use to compete with your competitors is how you use your time. Where do you put your focus, right? Because, like, really, if you think about it, time, right? It's just one component of it. But if you sort out the time, the focus is really, really easy to fix. And it's like, if you have those two put together, you're going to defeat anybody that stands in your way, right? By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alexander Photiou, and if you've never seen me before, I'm on a mission to help scale 1,000 health and wellness brand owners to $1 million a month by helping them build systems to attract new customers and extract more profit from them, right? And basically, what in this video, I'm going to basically just show you, like, I was about to go to the gym, and I thought, hey, this is actually a really good piece of content that I should record, right? Because this is really, really important, right? And the first things that I want to do is, like, I want to debunk some myths, right? Because there's a lot of myths that are going around in terms of time management. How do you manage your time? And the first thing is, like, you're not going to have to sleep less, right? You don't have to sleep less. That's a fit. That's a myth, right? That's a filthy myth, right? Because, like, that's not what time management is. Time management is making the most out of your time that you have available. Sleeping less is ultimately just going to damage your time management. You think you're doing yourself a favor by sleeping less, but in reality, all you're doing is you're destroying your focus. And when you destroy your focus, you can't manage your time effectively. You can't get as much done in the same amount of time as if you were to have that amount of focus, right? So that's the first thing. I'm looking at my talking notes here. The second thing is that you can't just work 4 hours a week. Like, yeah, time management is cool and it's going to allow you to get some things done, but it doesn't mean like once you master it, you can just work 4 hours a week. That's not how it works, right? Because, like, you're going to see what I mean by this later when I talk about how you do one thing is how you do everything. But yeah, you just know that you can't just work 4 hours a week once you master this. If that's what you're aiming to achieve, that's not what this video is going to provide for you. You should go somewhere else, because I'm not going to show you how you can work 4 hours a week and, just chill the rest of the time, right? Now, let's actually get onto the meat of this. So how do you actually manage your time better and get more things done in the same amount of time? Well, first things first, like, I'm going to tell you through I'm going to walk you through what I do, and then I'm going to show you the tools that I use and everything, right? Because I feel like I've managed my time quite effectively. I get a lot of shit done, and I'm very, very focused, right? So the first thing I do is I use a calendar, right? This is like the most basic thing. Most people don't use a calendar, and, like, let me actually backtrack on this, right? A lot of people use a calendar, but they use it completely wrong, right? They use it completely wrong. They just use it sometimes to schedule out their meetings in advance, or if they've got a doctor's appointment, they schedule out the doctor's appointment. That's not how you're meant to be managing your time, right? That's not what using a calendar really is. When I say you need to use a calendar, I mean literally plan out your day minute by minute, right? Plan your day out minute by minute. I know it seems extreme, but this is why you can get extreme results. If you take extreme precautions and extreme actions, then you will get extreme results, right? If you plan your day out minute by minute on your calendar, like, you're going to ensure that you get absolutely everything done in that amount of time, right? And that's due to Parkinson's law. If you don't know what Parkinson's law is, it's basically where if you give yourself an hour to do something, you will go and do it in that hour. If you give yourself 2 weeks to do it, you'll go ahead and do it in 2 weeks, right? The task's time taken to complete stretches out to the allotted time you've given it, right? So that's the first thing. Definitely, you want to be using calendar. You want to schedule out every single task, right? So I know that in 30 minutes from now, I'm going to go have my meal, and then I'm going to go to the gym, right, after this recording. But I also know, like, what I'm doing at 7 p.m. tonight, and I also know what I'm doing at 3 p.m. tonight, right? I schedule out my sleep, schedule out the most important things. You can set up recurring events, so you know, like, okay, you're eating at this time, you're sleeping at this time, you got this at this time, and these are recurring every single day, and you fill out your calendar, like, with those in mind, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing I use a task management software. So I have it, so I know, like, okay, I know what I'm doing today. These are the tasks that I need to do today, and I have a separate column where I have like, okay, these are the new tasks that have come in today. Let me just put them there, and at the end of the day, I'll schedule. Right. Next, and on top of that, I also have like, what do I need to do in the next 8 hours? What do I need to do in the next week? What do I need to do in the next 30 days? And then some other things, right? But effectively, you want to be just you just want to have everything down, because the whole essence of time management is really, you're not trying to get more time, because that's not possible. Everyone has the same amount of time. You can only do so much with your time, right? You can't increase the amount of time that you have, but what you can increase is the amount of focus that you have, and the amount of focus that you have is what's going to help you get more output out of that time, right? It's like a you know, in math where you have like the exponent, so you have 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. But if you have 2 to the power of 3, that's all of a sudden 8, right? If you have 2 to the power of 4, let me just think, that's 16, right? So it's just exponential. It's an exponent, right? That's what focus is. If you have more focus, you're going to exponentially increase the amount of work that you can do in the same amount of time that you already have available, right? So yeah, task management, the whole premise of that is that you're getting things out of your brain and onto paper, onto your laptop, onto your computer, just out of your brain, because your brain is not made for remembering things. Your brain is made for doing things, thinking, right? You're not meant to be remembering things. If you're stuck there and you're like trying to remember things, and you're in bed, you're trying to fall asleep, and then you remember that you were meant to get back to that supplier 2 weeks ago, and you still haven't gotten back to him, and you completely forgot. Like, of course, that's gonna harm your ability to manage your time, because you're gonna now get out of bed, go talk to that supplier. You're gonna have a backwards and forwards conversation. You're gonna think about how you can structure that conversation well in your own favor, and it's just like, it's a complete mess because you didn't go ahead and take it out of your brain and put it onto paper. Next thing is, I use a daily checklist. So on top of all of my tasks that I schedule out for the day, like, I have a daily checklist which I need to do every single day, and that's just an app on my phone. Like, I'm gonna go through the tools that I use a bit later. But literally, I just use an app on my phone where I just have daily requirements, like non-negotiables that I need to do. And that might be like posting content, take these supplements. So right now I'm taking creatine, just stopped on creatine. So take creatine, I'm on loading phase, so take 20 grams of creatine. You want to take some magnesium, you want to take this. And there's also other things like business stuff, right? So you want to be able to schedule out, I don't know what you do on a daily basis, but talk to this creative strategist, talk to this editor, talk to this media buyer every single day, right? That's the sort of thing that you want to just systemize. The whole point of this is like, you're systemizing your life, so you know it's predictable, and systems can be optimized. All right, you can't systemize on randomness. You can't optimize on randomness. Like, it's just not possible, because randomness just has variable inputs, right? You want to know that, okay, you have these inputs, these processes, these outputs every single day, and therefore you can go ahead and optimize on the system and literally make it much quicker. Right. Next thing I do, and this is going to seem quite contradictory, but not contradictory, but you're going to sort of think like, okay, what's the point in this, right? But I want you to pay much more attention to your nutrition and to your health than you already currently are. Like, I know a lot of you are sitting there and you're drinking Monsters, and you're going gym. You're most likely going to the gym. You're most likely taking good care of your body. Also, you think, because if you're drinking energy drinks, like, of course it's going to fuck up your focus, right? Like, you're literally putting chemicals that are engineered in a factory into your body, right? Your brain has to run on that stuff. This is why I used to do boxing, and I used to talk to a lot of boxers, professional boxers, big time boxers. And I used to box at the same gym with them. People like Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, right? I used to train in the same exact gym with them. And like, one thing you will notice across all boxers is the fact that they hate it when they eat bad food, because they train really hard, and when they're training, they don't want their body to burn bad fuel. They want their body to burn good fuel. And it's the same exact thing with your brain. Like, if you're working off terrible stuff, like, think of it as a system again. You have input, you have processes, and you have output. If the input is shit, then you're going to have a shit output. Like, it's just directly correlated. You can't have bad input and have a good output, right? You need to have good input so that your processes can do their things. Your processes are your thinking, your paradigm, the work that you actually do, your mindset. And then the output is the work that you get done, right? So you need to take much more care of your health, your nutrition. I recommend you start counting your calories as well. Like, this is what I'm going to get onto in a bit later, about how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's one of the most important points, and I'm saving that one till last. But just for now, like, understand that I personally count my calories. I know exactly how many calories I'm eating each day, and that's not only good for my focus, but it's good for my mindset and my time management. And like, you want to make sure that you're eating only single ingredient foods. Like, you don't want to be eating things like, I don't know, fucking porridge. because nobody knows what's inside that porridge, right? There's so many different ingredients, so many different chemicals that's inside that porridge, and it's just like you can't expect your brain to perform well. You can't expect your brain to perform on an A player level when you're eating the same thing like the average person is eating. Like, of course, you're gonna get the same amount of output that every single other average person is doing, right? Because you're literally feeding yourself the same exact stuff. Like, it's common sense. Next thing is caffeine. Like, I have a lot of caffeine. I have tons of caffeine. Most people say you should only have 400 milligrams. I'm really intolerant to caffeine. Like, I can drink 3 double espressos and I still won't feel anything. So I have a lot of caffeine personally. You might not need that much. But for example, I have these right here. These are caffeine pouches. I get the caffeine pouches from Muse. And I also have caffeine tablets that I take. I take those much more often, and I drink a bunch of coffee, right? Now, this also does go a bit contradictory to what I said about, you know, keeping your nutrition a bit healthier, because I do understand like this is going to have more chemicals in there, but that's also the reason like I've been steering away from these and just purely into caffeine tablets, because the caffeine tablets are just pure caffeine, right? There's no other chemicals in them. You can read the ingredients, it's literally just pure caffeine that's in them. And I do recommend that you get some caffeine tablets. I got the 200 milligram tablets, so every single tablet that I take is 200 milligrams. It's the equivalent of like 1.5 double espressos. And I drink coffee a lot. Caffeine is really just going to help with focus, but then again, I really want you to be careful. Like, if you're not used to caffeine, don't go ahead and just like, you know, take a 200 milligram tablet, because you're going to be bouncing off the fucking walls, right? You want to be careful with your caffeine, and you also don't want to overuse it. Like, I made this mistake where I thought one day I woke up and I thought, yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of caffeine today. And I just kept doing that for the next couple of days. And it's like, I couldn't feel the caffeine anymore. Like, even to this day, I still can't feel that caffeine that I take, because like I fucked up my caffeine tolerance because of that. Right? Now, the next thing is you always want to be planning more. You want to plan more on your to-do list than you can actually handle. And like, a lot of people say don't do that, because it's gonna fuck with your beliefs and your mindset, and it's gonna make you feel like you're not good enough. But I actually think that not finishing is better than having nothing to do. Like, an empty calendar is the devil's playground. And what I mean by that is that, like, you're gonna sit there, and if you have an empty calendar, if you have nothing to do, like, you're just gonna do degenerate stuff, right? You're just gonna do degenerate stuff. You're not gonna be able to focus because of those degenerate stuff. And it's just terrible, right? You always need to have more than you can do in a day. I personally find that to be the most productive, because I know, like, okay, at the end of the day, this is what I got done. I still needed to do these. Oh shit, okay, tomorrow we need to go even harder, right? That's basically the premise, the whole like hypothesis behind this is like, you always have more things to do, right? Next thing is one thing at a time. So I've been playing this up a lot, one thing at a time. The reason this is so important, you need to do one thing at a time, because how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? What do I mean by this? If I was to go to the gym, and if I were to do a half-assed workout, right? If I said I'm going to go to failure on a set of, let's say, incline dumbbell press, right? If I was to say I'm going to go to failure on incline dumbbell press, okay, cool. But I don't go to failure, and instead I just give up when I've still got like 5 more reps left in me. How is that going to translate into my work, right? Not very well, I'll tell you that for sure, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And the science behind this is like, your body cannot fundamentally tell the difference between tasks, right? It can't tell the difference between tasks. And what I mean by that is like, if you're working on one thing, and then you stop working and you go work on something else, doesn't matter. Even if you work and you stop and you go to eat, like, your brain can't tell the difference between tasks. It can only tell like, okay, switched, right? It just knows like, okay, we had a break, right? It doesn't know at its core principle. Like, the best analogy I can give for this is like, if you turn your laptop on and you switch a browser, your laptop doesn't know that it switched the browser. Like, yeah, okay, it's showing a different browser, but it doesn't know that you're showing a different browser. It doesn't know that you're running a different like website, right? That's the whole premise with this, is like, your brain needs to learn how to focus on one thing and one thing only at a time, right? How you do one thing is how you do everything, right? You need to, really, I should separate this into 2 points, but they interlace so well that I just decided I was going to put them into 1 point. But it's like, you need to focus on one thing, right? focus on one thing at a time, because if you do that in everything, if you do that in one thing, that's going to translate over into every single aspect of your life, right? And this is why I was saying, like, you need to eat healthily. This is also why I recommended that you count your calories, because if you're counting your calories diligently, right, then that's automatically going to translate into other areas of your life, right? If you're tracking your metrics, you're much more likely to track your macros, right? Same thing, because you're tracking. How you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Next thing is, I always have my notifications off. Like, my phone is constantly on D&D. My friends and my parents, they get very, very angry at me because I never answer their calls, right? But the thing is like, you need to understand that your focus is the most important thing that you have, and if you give somebody else the ability to impair that, then it's like, what have you got left? You have nothing in your control anymore. The only thing you can really have in your control is your focus and how you manage your focus. And like the most prevalent distraction for most people is their notifications. Like, this is actually another thing. I didn't have this on the list, but I'm going to add it now. It's like, delete all social media, bro. Just delete it. Delete every single piece of social media. And the reason for that is just like, it fucks with your dopamine. You're getting limbically hijacked, right? If you don't know what limbically hijacked means, it means like you are making a decision without consciously being aware of it, right? Like, let me explain to you. You're scrolling on Instagram, right? You're not conscious, like, of yourself. Like, I'm not sure if you know this, but when I used to have Instagram installed and I was scrolling reels way back when I wasn't really serious. When I used to do that, I was never really aware, but I would have these moments where I was just like, okay, wait, hold on. I'm sitting here on my chair and I'm just scrolling reels, and I just like zoomed out and I saw myself, and I realized I'm not conscious while I'm doing this at all, and I don't like it, right? And it's because you're getting limbically hijacked, right? This is the same thing that causes porn addicts to be porn addicts, right? Because they scroll on Instagram, they scroll on TikTok, they see a pretty girl, and they click on her bio, and they see a link that they know they shouldn't click on, but they click on it anyway, and they go end up spending money on someone's OnlyFans, right? That's the whole premise of this. Like, if you're gonna get limbically hijacked, you cannot expect yourself to be focused. You need to minimize where your focus is going, right? And your focus cannot be going on social media. Like, yeah, cool, if you need to post on social media, right? But delete it straight after, right? It's exactly what I do. I post a ton of content, but every single time I post content, I just download the apps again, sign in again, right? Even better, if you can, post it on your computer. Literally just go on your computer, go to Instagram, go to TikTok, go to YouTube, wherever you're posting content. Just go on there, post it from your computer, and sign out, right? Never have it on your phone. If you're posting content, download it, post content, delete the app, right? Instantly. Do not give yourself the chance to get distracted, because again, focus is the most important thing that you have. If you mess with your focus, you don't have anything left, right? So now the tools that I use, I know, like, for time management, for planning out my day, I always use Google Calendar. Like, it's the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing to do. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing every single hour of the day on Google Calendar. I actually even color code my tasks. Like, you can make it fun if you want. I like to color code them. Helps me tell the distinction between the types of tasks that I've been working on throughout the day. And it also, makes it a bit more fun. Makes it a bit more pleasant to look at, right? Next thing I do is on my phone, on my app. I have an app called Lists to Do. I repeat, Lists to Do. Literally all I do, that's my daily checklist. Like, the things I know I need to get done every single day, I just have it there. And I tick it off throughout the day as I complete the different tasks that I need to complete on that daily checklist. And then at the end of the day, while I'm reviewing my day, I go ahead and I just tick it all off, right? Ready for the next day. Next thing I use is also Kanban Flow, right? So this is a task software management tool. Sorry, task management software. Fuck, my English is not working today. But yeah, it's a task management tool, and like, it's the same thing as Asana, or if you use ClickUp, same thing as ClickUp. Those ClickUp and Asana are going to be more advanced. I personally prefer Kanban Flow simply because of its simplicity. Like, there is nothing else you can do on there except for plan out tasks, right? And you can set yourself deadlines on there. You can put descriptions in there. You can assign different tasks to different people if you're working with a team. But yeah, I just love it. I love it. I know exactly what I'm doing every single day because I have a today column, and I know that today, like, if I, for example, look at my tasks to do for today on my Kanban flow. There's a bunch of content that I need to get through. I need to record this video. I need to clear up some other stuff on some files. I'm not going to go through that because that's quite private. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different things that I need to do, a whole bunch of different work that I need to do, and it's on my 24-hour column. And I know that I'm doing all of that today. And again, there is more there than I will actually be able to do today. I know that, but I'm still trying my best to get everything done, because that's how you're going to go ahead and utilize Parkinson's law to its best ability, to maximize your potential, right? So yeah, those are the 3 tools that I use. I'm not really going to put links for them in the description. There's only 3 links, like 3 tools there. Google Calendar. The second one is lists to do. I repeat, if you want to find something that does a daily checklist, you can also write it out every single day. I used to do it in a book. I have a bunch of these plain black books where I just used to write out my daily checklist every single day. I don't do that anymore. I prefer to have it online on my phone. It just works much easier, it's much quicker, it's much faster, it's much more efficient for me. But literally whatever works for you, test different things, see what works. Like, I'm just giving you what I know works in theory. Like, for me, I know that having Google Calendar, daily checklist, and other separate one-time tasks, those are going to be the cornerstone. Like, okay, that's a theory that you need to implement. Now, you can go ahead and find different tools and different ways that you want to implement those different concepts. But yeah, again, Google Calendar, list to do, Kanban flow. That's literally all I use to manage my time and be more productive, and literally I get more shit done in one day than most people get done in a week, right? And that's simply because I can manage my focus and I can pinpoint it on the single task that I'm working on right now. And my focus is derived from my health, the way I do everything else. I have no distractions, right? If you look at my working space, all I have here is literally my water bottle. I have a whiteboard here. I have my laptop. I have a light for when I'm recording content, and I have a book. Hey, listen, I had to cut that video short because my camera did actually run out of battery. But listen, if you are running a health and wellness brand, and you're trying to scale it to 8 figures, and you're currently stuck at somewhere between 250 and 600K a month, and you just can't for the life of you figure out how you can get to those 7-figure months, then click at the first link in the description. Literally, it's a funnel. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is a funnel, but it does contain a video that contains the 3 most vital pillars for scaling to 8 figures. And watch it, you'll get some value out of it. I'm sure you'll love it. At the end of it, book a call. I don't really care. It's up to you. Just get some value from it. And yeah, if you like the video, prove it to me by hitting the thumbs up button, like the video, so I can actually tell if you like the video, so I can make some more content on these topics. And subscribe so you can actually see more content that I produce, because I produce a bunch of valuable content. Comment anything that you want clarified, by the way. That would really help, so I can make some content that you guys actually really like. Yeah, comment down below something that you want clarified, just any questions, and subscribe so you can see when I answer them. And subscribe because I make a bunch of valuable content, and subscribe because it would really help me out. But anyway, thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.